Hey there, CCB Dolan here again with CCB Fozzie. We have a match coming up for you: the Expendables versus the HUNS. We have the Expendables banning out the Kronos and the Guardian, and we have the HUNS banning out a Tengu and a Kitsune.
Which is fascinating because the HUNS have brought ECM, just in the form of Widow instead of the Kitsune. They brought a Widow and a Rook, so they do still have a fairly ECM-heavy team. Meanwhile, we've got a very similar team to what the Y-Dash guys brought from Expendables. Sleipnirs, Basilisk, Cyclone, and then some Jaguars. So the match is now on. We see that the Expendables team is warped in at range. The HUNS have warped in close. The HUN team probably going to be doing something similar to what they famously defeated with a Vargar team last year in having an actual offensive Widow that uses torps for a lot of damage. So we'll see how that works out for them. They're going to have to chase down the Expendables first.
You can see there as locks or jams are being applied, the control bar is just going off the charts.
Yes, this HUN team does have off-the-charts control. This is a very, very heavily controlled team. And you can see a smart bomb running for that Widow. He's going to be using that to clear drones off of him and possibly even to knock out some missiles.
Yeah.
Not that there's going to be very many missiles coming from the Expendables. Okay.
And they're no slouch in the EHP and DPS bars. It's not like they're a glass cannon. They've got some beef behind them.
No, it's definitely, as we see, a Tyrannus going down quickly. So what we're seeing actually is very similar tactics to what we saw in the last match. The Sleipnir team has decided to pull back and wait for someone to leave the safety of the group from the HUNS. And it looks like that Tyrannus went out and got a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, he's got a little risky there in an attempt to maybe catch something for the other team. But it looks like he's receiving enough reps.
Yeah, we're seeing some great repping from the Neros for the HUNS, as the HUNS lose some of their E-War locks and then gain them back again very quickly.
Yeah, and you can see there the point that the Tyrannus struggled so hard to go out and get that web on a Jaguar that was moving towards them. Looks like the Jaguar is taking a bit of a punish.
The Jaguar is going through shields, and it is a shield tank Jaguar, so there you go. You see as it loses all of its armor at once. But in the meanwhile, a Tyrannus down for the HUNS. So we've got first blood to the Expendables, although the HUNS are about to follow that up with a kill on this Jaguar. Hopefully.
He's no longer webbed, so he's not quite taking the damage he was before. But it is a fair trade, 4 points for 4 points. No real advantage. The Tyrannus does have some insane tackling capabilities, a little bit less tank than the Jaguar.
The Jaguar is a great all-around ship.
Yeah.
You fit a bit of E-War on it, and then a decent tank and do some damage as well, alongside your tackling. But it's staying alive, so it's doing a great job. We're seeing both Damps and ECM being applied to the Sleipnirs and Basilisk for the Expendables.
This is going to be really bad for the HUNS if this Oneros goes down. Yeah,
that Oneros dropping extremely quickly, and as you see, you saw the rep bar disappear from their team because they don't have ASBs. All of their active rep comes from that Oneros, and it's gone, so all of a sudden the rep half of their defense bar disappeared.
And as soon as a single ECM ship, like if that Rook goes down,
the Rook
which it is
going into structure right now,
this is going to be really bad. This is pretty much match sealed for Expendables if this Rook goes down.
The Expendables doing a great job of keeping their team alive and keeping some DPS ships unjammed because...
Look, did you see that bar drop as the Rook went down? Wow.
All of a sudden, a lot of you are off the field, and I have a feeling that that Widow is not going to be too far behind. Without the actual tanking coming in from their Neros, there as it goes, the Widow is not going to have a great passive tank.
And you can see as the Widow drops, the attack bar will just jump up. No longer being jammed out, no longer being prevented from locking the enemy team and attacking, which is the effect of ECM modules for those who are maybe new to watching. And basically everything, they were entirely relying on that. They brought the EOS to give the information warfare bonuses just to help their jams out just a little bit more. And things have just gone, whoa, there we go again.
And there it goes. So the HUNS going all in on ECM. And these ECM teams is something that we've seen in previous tournaments. Once things start to fall apart, it's like a house of cards. It's really intricately set up. It can do great things while everyone's there. But if you lose a ship or two, whole thing falls apart.
Yeah. These Sleipnir teams are the backbone, sort of the go-to team. They're very safe, but very strong. And against something like this, where maybe piloting error occurs, that Oneros probably shouldn't have gotten caught if he was maybe piloting a little bit better. Should have been behind the safety of his tackling frigates. You just can't. You just can't stand the sledgehammer.
I'm fascinated by the fact that we haven't seen a Sleipnir banned yet. Considering how dominant they were in previous tournaments, how dominant they've been so far, people obviously are using them, but they're not actually banning them. Sleipnir teams, as long as you don't fly out of the arena, doing pretty well so far.
Yeah.
Flying out of the arena, though, not a winning tactic.
Flying out of the arena is... maybe they should ban flying out of the arena.
Yes.
Like, we're not...
That would be
it's a strong ban. Yeah. I think that the Sleipnir is such a good go-to. that eventually teams will be killing enough people that you're forced to ban it
Yeah,
out.
we're going to start seeing people banning them. The ASB has made it great, but it was great even before the ASB. It has really everything you need. You can fit a gang link on it to boost your entire team. You can fit a lot of hit points. You can fit an active tank, and it does a ton of damage and does it fast. It really is the all-around package for tournament teams. It does everything you need a tournament ship to do.
Yeah. And that is the last ship down for the Huns. A convincing victory for Expendables.
And the Huns are going to be going up against Y-Dash tomorrow in the losers bracket.
Yes, strongly. And we will throw it back to ourselves in the studio. We'll see you in just a little bit.
The Expendables beating the Huns. That was a good match.
Yeah. You can see just the effect of my pen is no longer working.
It was so good that your pen broke.
Yes. The Expendables showing PL how to do the Sleipnir team, apparently.
So, the Huns brought an ECM setup, and they banned the Kitsune. Why?
The Kitsune is a real dangerous ship to these ECM teams in the same way the Griffin is. It's an ECM ship that you can load up with Caldari jammers to jam other jamming ships, and it locks faster.
Yep.
So in a pure EW battle, if your team is relying on a Rook and a Widow, which are large, slow-locking ships, if the other team brings E-War in small ships, they can get the first lock, jam you first, and then just control you for the whole match. Whoever gets the first jam or the first damp in these kind of wars, where you have mirror matches for electronic warfare, is the team that's going to win usually.
And so, Kronos and a Guardian from the Expendables, so was it just a double set of defensive bans?
In this case, I think, yeah, they were just worried that a strong armor-taking Kronos team, which you've seen a couple of these strong armor-taking Kronos teams.
Yeah.
We saw one just defeat a Sleipnir team.
Yeah.
So I think that was an excellent ban on their part. I think they probably got a good insight into how the meta was going to start out today.
How many matches are we going to go till someone bans a Sleipnir?
I think it's going to happen soon.
I think it's going to happen in the next match.
People just can't keep delaying it. It's we'll see whether or not the Tengus get banned, considering that one of the teams is called Tengu Terror next. But the Sleipnir is a dominant ship. It was last time. The ASBs, although they're getting changed in December in the Retribution expansion, they're getting a bit of a nerf. They're not nerfed yet. So they're still just as powerful as they were in the 10th Alliance tournament.
And especially in a match, Tinkerhell and Alt versus Tengu Terror, which is our upcoming match. These are two relatively unknown teams, which means not only are they unknown to us, they're unknown likely to each other. So they're going with the safest of safe bans, probably, I would expect.
Well, it's possible they have some spine.
Before we go to the next match, we do have a quick round of ads coming up for you. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back from the quick commercial break. We're about to start the next match, but before that, we did just get the bans from the next match. It was a Scimitar and a Kronos from Tinkerhill. It was a Sleipnir and a Vargur from Tengu Terror.
So we saw it. There we go, the first Sleipnir banned. And I don't think there's any coincidence that we've seen it get banned after it's been used so much in the first couple matches.
Tengu Terror have been watching the stream.
Yeah,
pretty
and
much.
so is Tinkerhill. Kronos, another ship that's been used twice to very good effect.
Yeah.
So what are we going to see now? So the Kronos has been banned, the Sleipnir has been banned, the Vargur has been banned. Is this another ECM?
Here's one of the things that's great about the ban system is for a long time there's sort of a series of teams that are the go-to cookie-cutter teams that everybody who's been involved in any tournament knows these teams. He designed most of them, but with the ban system, you can knock out the key components of those teams and force something entirely new to evolve.
Yeah, so there's a lot of options, really. Hack teams, I think, are going to be really good. You can go with a full damping control team that uses bombers. There's a lot of options. Notably, no Tengu's banned, so the 100-man Tengu team would be a perfect option for Tengu Terror.
And I mean, so I think part of the surprise for me as well right now is that we have two teams that I like. A lot of these teams you can say, all right, well, these are kind of this alliance, or it's this guy and these friends from this alliance. But these two teams is one of the matchups where I don't know anything about either team.
Yeah.
Like, I do not have a clue who they
So
are.
we actually have a good friend of ours, a lovely community member, Arya Danica, has been doing interviews with the team captains to sort of get to know the teams better. And if teams captains want to come and visit her, I'm sure she'd love to have more, let you know.
Yep. I'm actually going to be taping her podcast later tonight.
Oh, very nice.
And so she has the interviews up, and I've been listening to them this morning, and they're great. If you want to get to know some of the teams.
Well, she's
Actually,
great.
there's already
She's
one
a
for
fun
Tengu Terror that's up. They're from the Unthinkables Alliance, living down south, and so this is their first time in the tournament. But we'll see if they can bring out something really good for the first time.
See if they're ready to duke it out.
Yeah. The match is ready. Tinkerhill and Alt versus Tengu Terror, if that's how they pronounce it. What's your pick?
I'm going with Tengu Terror.
I'm
very afraid of Tengus.
I'm going with Tinkerhill, hoping to even up the odds between me and Dolan.
Yep, me too. Let's do it.